Hey, what's up? This Pace. I'm up here at Bars Unlocked, and this is Behind the Bars.
So here we are at Bars Unlocked with
Pace. What's the deal?
Pace. What's going on, bro?
Ain't shit, man. I'm just chilling. Came to talk to my guys and so.
Hell yeah. Honorable Thieves. So how you got started, bro?
Shit. Got started with clothes or got started with music? It's a whole different thing.
Okay, so what you started with first?
Music.
Music. How'd you get started with the music?
I've been doing music since I was a little kid, so I was doing music when I'm like playing music, playing piano, all that shit when I'm like 9.
Okay.
Everybody on my dad's side of the family, everybody know how to play an instrument, so there's a piano in the crib. And then on my mom's side, it was a piano in my auntie crib, so I used to always fuck around. I had some lessons and shit like that. I was on TV doing that shit, all kind of shit. I was like a child prodigy with that shit, for real. Then I stopped, because once I got to like high school, I didn't think it was cool no more. It was like, I'm trying to fuck with the girls and shit like that. So I stopped going to lessons. All that, I had ended up moving from my grandma. I grew up with my grandma. I ended up moving with my mom. I cut all that shit off. I'm like, I'm trying to get pussy now. Like, I'm not playing no fucking piano. Then I seen, it was Pharrell, NERD video. You can't be me, I'm a rock star. I'm rhyming on the top. And they was like in the gym, there's all these girls. And the nigga Pharrell just always was fly to me. Like the way he was dressed, all that. I'm like, this is like how I like this shit. Like, what did he do? Because he was rapping and singing and all that shit. But I'm like, oh, he makes the beat. I never even really thought. Up until then, I always listen to music and shit, but I didn't really think about how he was made. So I just started doing research. This is like, I'm gonna age myself out, but this is like AOL time. This is like the start of the internet type shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Early Ash Jeeves might have still been a thing at this time.
Ash Jeeves was a crazy.
Yeah, so I just started doing research, and I was always a computer savvy boy. So even in school, I'm like making bootleg DVDs for people, making mixtapes. You remember like burning CDs? I was that boy. Like I could go get the CD, I'll make mad copies of it, go to school, sell it for $5 and shit like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm already knowing how to like get the bootleg programs, all that shit. Mm-hmm. So I just stumbled across Fruity Loops one day. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, this is how they do this shit. And at first I was just like taking songs that I stole off LimeWire or whatever, looping them up, and then I just started learning from there. And then that was pretty much it. I went to school. I just started showing people in my school. You know, it's always niggas that rap at your school. Mm-hmm. So I would show them. Shout out to my man Marcus. He going through a hard time right now. I seen him recently. But like, he was like the hot rapper at the school and shit. So I started like messing with him, doing, we was rapping. I was rapping too at this time. Damn, dog. Honestly, we got to go back further than that.
Okay.
Because probably 9th grade, shout out to my man L. Dot, my man JR, my man Dietrich, my young boy Mike. We had a rap group called The Takeover. And I was rapping at this time. We was like rapping at Elmwood Skating Rink, all that type of shit like that. It's Elmwood Skating Rink is in Southwest Philadelphia. If you from, you know and shit. So we would go there, we'd be rapping and shit. Everybody had matching Dickies on and all that kind of shit. We was doing all that. Yep. So my mom, she would always let all my friends come to the crib. So this is where we, mind you, like I said, I'm a computer savvy boy at this time. So we would set up the little white microphone. There used to be these white microphones that come with your computer, like if you got like a Gateway computer. And I had like a banging ass Gateway computer. We would record, we would play the music loud in the background at the crib, like the beats or whatever. We rapping off the instrumentals at this time. Mm-hmm. And then we would record it through that little mic and shit. And this is how I first started. This is my first step of being like an engineer. I'm not a producer yet, but I'm like recording all this shit. It sounded terrible, but we was taking that shit and playing that shit for niggas. We even had rap beef, all this shit. Like, this is before I even picked up on making a beat. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's what led me to start making beats and shit. Cause I'm like, well, we gotta make our own music. Mm-hmm. And I just started progressing from there. That's when I got Fruity Loops. That's when I started actually making beats. Then I'm in high school. And as that started going along, I think.
What high school you went to for those?
I went to Newman Goretti. It was St. John Newman at the time when I first started going there, all boys school, Pickle Fest.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was going there or whatever.
Right.
I think it was my man Ro introducing me to this guy named Calhoun, Jules. Shit, my man Jules. He's way older than me. He's probably like in his early 20s at this time. Like I said, I'm like 16. He's making beats too. So I think Ro took me over there. He took me to his crib or whatever. And he just had his whole little room decked out. He had the Fruit Loops and all that and shit. And he was like a little bit better than me. Like you could tell he'd been doing it for a little bit longer. And his cousin is a guy named Don P. Don P is a member of a group called Men of Respect. Men of Respect was like P.D. Crack's rap group. Okay. This was like his little side project. It's him, it was P.D., Don P, and a guy named Warbucks. Okay. And they was doing mixtapes and shit like that. So this is like probably, I feel like Flip Side and all that shit had already came out. But at the time, P.D. Crack is Fish Grease. Like, this is like around all that time. Around the time he had the song with Neo and all that shit, right? So he's Fish Grease. So I go to him, I play him my stuff or whatever. Like, yo, I like this, yo. I be working with da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, yo, you work with da-da-da-da? He's like, yeah, I'm going to take you there. So he take me to this studio. It was like P.D. Crack used to have his own studio, kind of like a shit like this on Broad Street. I think it might be like Broad and Oregon. You go behind Broad Street and then you go on like a back joint and he was in there. Shout out to Ant. Ant was his like manager at the time. And this is like I said, I'm going from my crib. It's like I'm doing shit at my mom's crib. Nobody rapped off my shit except for people that went to my school. And then the next thing I know, I'm like in the studio with P.D. Crack. And so I started being, Oskino used to come to my house. Oskino know my mom and shit like that at this point. It's like, so I started working with them. Me and Jules did a couple things on their project, right? And now I'm in the mix. So I'm making beats every day. I get off school early or cut school, go to his crib, and we just be in there making shit all day, whatever, right? So from there, Crack is, if you know State Property is like the only thing, the biggest thing smoking in the city at that time. This is like Meek and all of them, like they probably just started. Cause I found out about Meek in school and niggas didn't really know about him and like all of them like this is like they the top. So once I know them, it's like everybody else that we run into and we was active outside. This is when niggas were still selling their CDs out the trunk. Right, DVDs started popping at this time. Right. So we like, all right, we know all these people, right? Cause now that led me to running it like meeting up with like Joey Jihad. Joey Jihad's coming to my house and shit. Joey Jihad was coming up to my school when I was in college, all type of shit like that. But this is like after, like when he got more popular. Right. Meek, there's so many dudes from that time, NH, all them niggas. So we started knowing all of them. Like I said, rap DVDs just started popping at this time. So we like, yo, we gonna make a rap DVD. Right. So we got a little bullshit camera, and we did a DVD. It was called Hood Celebrity, and we would go to like the Chinese store down north. Shout out to Bob. This is like when Bob and Headshots started doing their shit too. Just like all around the same time and shit. So we had DVDs called Hood Celebrity. You can still see. I know one of the most famous clips is this clip when Joey Jihad rapping in the Chinese store. It's like all these niggas behind him. I feel like he had a camouflage jacket on and shit like that. Okay. We in a poppy store. Because I remember when we got there, this nigga was in the back. This is the first time I ever seen a nigga behind the counter in the poppy store, like where they cooking at and shit. Like, he came from back there and just started rapping. That shit was so fire to me at that time and shit like that. So that ended up, we started working with Had a lot. Okay. He used to come through the crib, all that shit. And we did, I got like multiple songs with him and shit. After that, what happened after that shit? I got a long, like this shit, I got a long story of this shit for real. So let me think. Hattie, we do all the DVD shit. We start working with Had. Right. Some shit, I think, like I said, my man Jules was older than me. So he was like, we probably did this same routine, ran this play for like 3-4 years. He started getting older. Then he ended, like, so now he might be like, I'm like 19, he like 26. He got involved with his chick. They start getting more serious and shit like that. She ended up getting pregnant. So he's like, now it's like, oh man, I can't play around with this little kid shit anymore. I gotta lock in and do my grown man. So I understand this shit. I didn't understand it at the time because I'm younger. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about nothing but making beats. Like, what studio we going to, whatever. I don't even need no money in my pocket. Like, this is what I'm doing. So he ended up like falling back a little bit and shit. So I took like a hiatus. I think I went. That probably led me to like going to college. I graduated high school, I go to college and shit.
Okay.
So when I get up there, it's like a whole new ball game. It's mad. It's like kind of started over because now I'm in Chester, I'm in Widener and shit like that. I'm living on campus, so I don't have a car at this time or nothing. So I'm not really going back and forth to be in the mix with like all the rappers in the city. But I still did my shit, and we didn't have this is like MySpace time. Facebook just started, shit like that. So you couldn't stay in constant contact with everybody, and I was always the young boy, so it always would be like my man would be the one really like calling the niggas and setting up all the plays and shit like that, and I just show up like, yo, I got beats, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So after that, I kind of lost touch with some of the people for real, like cracking them. I kind of lost touch because that was like kind of his plug. And then I remember Joey Jahad hit me up like on Facebook or MySpace or some shit like that. He like, yo, what's up? You not making beats no more? I'm like, no, I am, but I'm all the way in fucking Chester, bro. Like, I'm like, why? He like, yo, I'm coming up there.
Right.
So he come to my campus and shit. He come to the cafeteria, all that shit. Right. Like I'm saying, and at this time, DVDs had blown up. He's like, now it's transitioned from like the older niggas, like the state property shit kind of fading. And now all the best people that people care about is like the DVD rappers. So now it's like Meek is coming up. Jahad is like, if you've been paying attention to Philly rap long enough, you'll remember like Joey Jahad was the best rapper in the city.
At one point.
Yeah, like he was supposed to be Meek before Meek, for real, if you be honest. Yep. He was the top dog. I just feel like he never cared as much about being famous. He always was like getting money in the streets and like he'll come out, spit all this hot shit, put a mixtape out, and then fall back for like a year. You won't see him or hear him. He just be doing whatever shit he doing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So he come up there, and it was like a thing. He came up there, he gave me a go get his jacket and shit like that, and then he just took all these beats. So that's how I ended up. I think it was the Big Dog Yard. I ended up doing like 4 Jones on there. Okay. So that got me back in the mix again and shit. I think I stayed in Widener for like a year. I ended up leaving there. I come back down to Philly. I go to Temple. So now I'm in the mix. I'm in North. And it was a studio on Broad Street again. It's crazy how my life goes in circles, bro. It's on Broad Street again, but this is on North Side and shit. It's like probably Broad and Diamond or some shit like that. I just rode past there the other day. They turned that shit into like a medical building or some shit like that. But it used to be a studio. It used to be like how this is. Like you go in and it's like all these different studios in there. So Jahad had like finessed some niggas that had some scammer money, and they ended up signing. This is I'm not gonna put his business out there, but he was doing shit like that. Like every time I run back into him, he'll have like some old head that got some money. He'd be like, yeah, I'm signed to him, but really he just like getting him out the bread. Like he'll be like, yeah, I'll sign with you. Give me 20,000. He'll do some raps, and then I'll be in there sometimes in the studio with him, and he'll be spitting like, you know. Them old heads, like, this was a time, too, in the city. Like, it used to be a lot of, like, niggas that was selling drugs that be trying to clean their money up with, like, trying to make a record label.
Right.
But they don't know music, though.
Right.
They just be like, yo, you should rap off of this. And he'll just do it. Like, he'll go in there and he'll spit some shit on some new beat that they done bought from some producer that they think is, like, the shit, like, they think they about to take over and shit like that. He'll go in there and I'll be like, yo, you spit this rap like 3 years ago, but I won't say nothing, so I'm around him again, so we'd go into the studio on Broad Street or whatever. He used to come pick me up, or he'll get a cab to come get me from school and bring me there and shit. So we in there for a while. This one I started running into people more so like the Headshot crew. So like this is like the Kid Magic. Who else around that time? NH. I remember it was me, Jalo Beats, and NH had like a studio session one time and shit around this time and shit like that.
How'd that go?
It was fire. I realized how much better he was than me at that time though. And it was kind of like, I didn't understand. I was always a nigga, like I said, Pharrell gave me my start. For real. Like, he don't know this yet, but he was like the reason, like, I kind of patterned my shit after him. And his thing is like, he'll make a song like Happy, but then he'll make like some shit with like Bryson Tiller, then he'll make like a rock song. So my shit was always like, not always, but at that time my shit was like all over the place like that. Like I never, at that time I didn't value like
one genre.
Yeah, not even genre, because I was doing all rap, but I was always trying to be different. So it wasn't a shit like, oh, I heard this song that you did with such and such, give me another one of those. I don't got another one of those, dog. Like, I just make it all whatever I feel at the time. Right. He showed me, like, yo, you have to, like, you don't have to, but it was so easy for him to get his shit going because he just made a bunch of shit that had the same bounce. Mm-hmm. And once you get one song that people like, it's kind of like the next person that you run into is looking for that too. Mm-hmm. So he just was in there playing all these Jones, and they all was like, hey, hey, you niggas remember that time? So, right. But, and I'm just coming with like, yo, I'm coming with concepts, all that, like, yo, this one right here, you gotta talk about like the bid. I'm like doing all this extra producer shit, but I'm realizing like, nah, he just want the shit that's gonna get him on the radio, and that's what Jallo had. And from that day, that showed me like, all right, let me kind of dumb it down a little bit, like, and just find something that's gonna like catch people's ear that I could easily duplicate. Because sometimes when you be too extra, like you could overproduce too. So that's like what separate like a DJ Mustard from like Just Blaze. Okay. Just Blaze, he gonna catch one every 3 years, and it'll be like, yo, this is the craziest beat I ever heard, and then you don't hear nothing else because he probably brought an orchestra in there to play that shit. He got live drums on this shit. He put a choir on there. So you get like a Lord Knows with Drake and Rick Ross, but then you don't hear nothing else from that. Like you never, it'll be one record and then you don't hear shit else like that for however long until he catch another one and shit like that. Where a Mustard is like, I got this sound and I'm gonna just duplicate this shit. I can easily duplicate this shit over and over and over again. So now I can have 10 songs on the radio at a time and shit like that. So that showed me that though. Like, all right. So all that goes, I'm working with the headshot rappers and shit like that. I'm working with all these niggas. Then I had like, same shit that happened, same shit that kind of my man went through, my man Jules that started me with this shit, but I was just like more hard-headed. Like I ended up dropping out of Temple and I just was like doing street shit. And like, I'm like selling Percocets and shit like that. Like I'm doing dumb shit. Right. So I run, but I'm still tapped in though, because you meet so many people along the lines that's kind of like, when I go out, I'm around rap niggas, I'm around producers and shit like that, I'm around all this shit. So I'm still like paying attention, watching World Star, all that, seeing who's hot, who's doing what. And I'm still making beats, but I'm not like actively pursuing that shit like that. I'm just kind of like whatever, I'm trying to do other shit. So I run into, I'm at the barbershop, shout out to Kenny. Kenny is Lee, what's the girl name? Lay Banks' manager now. So I'm in there, I'm about to get my cut or whatever. There's a dude named Mont Brown. I just seen this nigga on World Star and shit like that. He had like a song called Who Cooler Than Me, I think. Like, it was on top of World Star and shit. And he just come in there and shit, get his cut. I'm like, yo, I seen you somewhere, da-da-da. We start chopping it. He like, yeah, I'm trying to do da-da-da. Yo, we should link up. He come to my crib one day and we just start, we clicked from there. We started working and shit. So we started going, this is when... He only had like 3 songs when I met him and shit. He didn't really have a lot of songs, but he got a good spirit to where like he really wanted to do this shit. Like he really wanted to be a rapper bad. So I'm like, and I like the way he dressed. I like his aesthetic and shit like that. It's cool. So I'm like, all right, we gonna work. We started going. This is when we started booking time at Batcave. So I meet Rug and Ness. I meet Gilly the Kid. I meet like Mike Knox, a bunch of other cats. Niggas that was around that time at that first Batcave, the 4th Street Batcave and shit like that. This is the hub. This is where everybody's at.
Oh, you letting them know.
Yeah, this is where everybody, like this is where Meek started bubbling up and like Flamers, all that Flamer shit, that's all the Batcave and shit like that. So we used to we would book time, but niggas didn't have a lot of money, so we would book like 2 hours in the studio and shit like that, do our little songs. But we would just come there. We would come there in the morning like it's a job and shit. Right. We would just show up at the Batcave when they open and just be there. And that's how we started meeting people and making connections and shit like that. So, like I said, Meek used to be in there every day. He was having the A room booked for like 12 hours a day type shit like that. So that's how I started getting cool with him. I had already worked with him on somebody passed some music off before this though. Like, so I did shit on his old mixtape. I think it's called The Real Me. We just playing it before the interview started and shit. But yeah, this is when I like started actually knowing him and getting cool with him, and then I got cool with Gil. So that all brings us to this song called "Super Crazy Dumb Stupid." It's mine, it's Gil, and a dude named Daddy-O.
And you had Chucky on there.
That's the remix. That's after that. Okay. Yeah, so then this shit goes crazy. This is like right around the New Boys You a Jerk movement, all that shit. Those niggas was doing that dance and all that shit. So, and that shit goes crazy. It's getting played on the radio crazy. That shit, the video ended up being on like MTV or some shit like that. We getting booked for performances at clubs, all kind of shit like that, whatever. So we burn that shit out. We burn that shit down. We go to college tours, all kind of shit. And we met a lot of other people along that time. I met a lot of people along that time. We started being cool with Diamond Cuts, a lot of people like that around that time and shit like that. So we burn that shit to the ground. But the thing is, we had that one song and we tried to duplicate that shit, but it wasn't catching the same. So we ended up doing like, I think we did 2 mixtapes around the time. It's like Helmets On, they call it. Helmets On 1 and 2. Because we made a group. At this point now, me and him are a group. It's called the Astronauts. So we do Helmets On 1 and 2. But like I said, his mind was kind of like mine's too. Like, we trying to be different. Like, we trying to duplicate this shit that we already did with the super crazy, dumb, stupid shit. But it wasn't catching the same. Like, it was just like, that was it for that. So we started experimenting with other shit. And we both had like similar interests. So we started like kind of divvying off more into like the alternative, like the NERD type of shit like that. So as that shit's burning down, and we done had, in between then and where the time I'm taking you to, we done had multiple like, oh, I'm gonna sign you, yo, I'm gonna take you to go meet this person in Atlantic, yo, I'm gonna do this for you, yo. God, we also ended up having like some get money old heads investing in us and shit like that, whatever case might be. But shit just wasn't working how we wanted it to. So we just like, yo, we gonna revamp the whole shit and make this a band. So we go get a drummer. Shout out to Joey Sticks. He's still out here doing his thing and shit like that. My man Andrew Miore, my white boy, he in LA right now. He goes on tour all the time. He's like an alternative singer and shit like that. We get him. We get Art. He plays the saxophone. We had like multiple bass players and shit like that. But so we make this shit into a band. So we start having the band. Now we able to, it was something about just seeing that this is the only band at the time. Besides the Roots, we probably the only band in Philadelphia for real. Like, right. That's like a lot actually going out performing and shit like that. Right. So we just activated all the connections we already had. We started doing shows and shit. And at first, we wasn't even doing music with them niggas. We was just having them play the music that we already had. And even just the response to that was people was like, damn, dog, we had these songs on the mixtape, but nobody cared. But when we added like the live element to it, it made it like dope again and shit. Like, so now we able to go back out and like get active. So we started recording music with them, whatever the case might be. We started doing shows. Shout out to Yusef. It was a dude named Yusef. He used to do a bunch of shows in the city. He used to do damn near every shit at the niggas remember the Blockley. Was a venue. Yeah, the Blockley was a venue down University City. So we meet him because Mont was like I was always a nigga like, I don't like niggas like that. Like, I want to do the music, but I don't really want. I'm not keeping up with niggas. And this is to my own detriment. I should have been doing more of this at the time. But like, he was the nigga that was like, I'm a dot connector type bull. And it makes sense because if you look at where he at now, he A&R and shit. But yeah, he was always the dot connector nigga. So he ends up getting connected with the boy Huey. So this now we able to like do shows. So we open up for like Joe Budden, Cameron, Dom Kennedy, Juicy J, Wale, Kendrick. When Kendrick first got started and shit, he did a show to TLA. I think this is some shit called it's not Sneaker Con. It's one of them type of. It was a sneaker shit they used to have. They used to go on tour. It used to be like in DC. They came to Philly. They had a TLA. During the day, it would be like some sneaker head shit, and then at nighttime it'd be like a show. So we ended up opening up for Kendrick there. So I met Kendrick there too and shit. I gave the nigga a beat CD and everything. But
did you ever use one or?
Who knows? I don't know. If it did, I ain't never heard it. Yeah,
that'd be crazy.
It is like right before. This is when Section 8. This is Section 80 Kendrick.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but so yeah, we started doing shows and everything. We working on projects. We working on music with the band now. We actually incorporating them. Like now we go into the studio and we like recording live drums, guitar, all this shit like that. So we start working on a project with them or whatever the case might be while we doing all these shows and everything. Then we ended up doing a song called Single. We shot a big ass video. We rented out fucking Bartram High School, shot the video in there. that shit ends up getting on MTV. So now that's on MTV. So now it's like, all right, we gotta put a project out. We put a project out. Project was cool. I still think my whole time doing music, I feel like I was always like a little too early. And being on time with your shit, being perfect. Like that's why it's so many people that be like, "Yo, he was great," but you don't even realize how great it was until like years later because the nigga was so far ahead. Like you know what I'm saying? So I feel like the whole time I always felt like I was a little ahead because even the way we was dressing then. Like, if you go back and look at shit like music videos and shit that we was doing around that time, bro, I'm having vintage starter shit on. I'm having fucking dirty sneaks and shit like that. Like, we was dressing like skateboarders and all. The shit that niggas is doing right now, or the shit that became cool, if you look at if you go back and look at these music videos and shit like that, and then you look at other niggas that was in the city and how they was dressing, niggas is still wearing like, just a plain thermal Timbs, or like, jerseys and still wearing like niggas like this is still kind of gangster rap time for the city and all that weird shit didn't start yet. Like Uzi and all them niggas, they didn't exist. We already in the future kind of like when we come places, niggas be like, oh, who the fuck is that? Like almost like them niggas kind of weird type shit. Like so we was a little bit ahead. Like if the shit we was doing that probably would have happened like if we'd have been like 43 years later, we would have been the biggest thing in the world, honestly, because we was so far ahead of like where it was going. But we already was like, man, we paying attention to like what's going on out of the city. Like we wasn't never like, we fuck with the city, but we was never like taking like, all right, we got to do this. A lot of people, I feel like niggas be, even now when I look at, I still be paying attention. It's like even now, a lot of niggas be like, they rap good, but you could tell that they hold themselves back because they want to be thorough. Like niggas be like too thorough for themselves, almost like, you know what I'm saying? So they won't do certain shit, or they won't talk a certain way, or they won't go certain places, or they have certain niggas around them so they can keep that like, yeah, I'm from Philly type joke. We wasn't on that, like, you know what I'm saying? We was just doing whatever and shit, you know what I'm saying? But so where am I at? Yeah, we do that. We get on MTV. It's the song called Single. Now we burn that out. We going everywhere performing that shit. We probably performed at every fucking venue in the city, Jersey, Atlanta. We did like what's this shit called? ACC in Atlanta. It's like a music festival shit down there. We did that shit. We met Don Cannon down there and shit like that. So we burned that shit out. We probably do like a 2-year run of just performing every fucking where. Shit, we ended up headlining at TLA with that shit. Niggas couldn't get along. It was too many like
egos.
yeah. And just adverse opinions. So like, and then niggas started being, I feel like it became like a little too like cliquey. Like all right. And I'm victim of this too. Like, all right, yeah, these two people in the group are cooler than these two people in the group. Or like, these three hang out together all the time and this one don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? This kind of shit. So
who you feel like had the biggest ego?
I'm not going to say on here, but people that were there, they would know. Right, it's 2025. I'm preaching positivity. You know what I mean? We ain't going to make it like that. But yeah, became like an ego. I feel like there's a lot of ego and shit like that. So, band break up. Niggas go their own separate ways. Niggas still kind of fuck with each other a little bit, but not really. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that happens. Boom, band breaks up. Now I take another hiatus. I probably take and then now at that point I'm telling niggas like I'm seeing niggas out in traffic. They like, yo, what's up with the bro? I don't make beats, bro. Right. Fuck out of here with that shit. Like I'm not doing it. Cause niggas that's really been pursuing that shit, they will understand like that shit hurts your heart. Cause people always promise you shit. And you can't really, it's hard to not believe that shit because it's like, yo, like I said, yo, my shit on MTV, my shit's getting played on the radio. Everywhere I go, and it's kind of like you get caught in a bubble. Because everywhere we go, everybody know who he is. Niggas want to take pictures with me. I'm getting all type of strange vagina, all kind of, you know what I mean? It's popping, you know what I mean? Yeah. This is time when like, this is like IG just started. I'm having like 30,000 people following me on Facebook, all this shit. So I'm a Philadelphia celebrity at this point. Like everywhere I go, people know me and shit. Right. And then here come people that I see, they got connections. This is like and it's still going on now, and it's sad, bro, because it's a lot of this is what I will say. It's a lot of old heads that been in position with like they might have had a job in a record label, or they might work for a record label now, or they might have had like a popping situation. They managed somebody that's famous now back in the day, and they'll be feeding these niggas like they'll be gassing the niggas and like having them do paperwork with them or like locking them into situations and promising them shit, and then it don't happen. Right. And to them, it's kind of like, oh, it didn't work out, whatever, y'all be alright type shit. But that shit will break your heart because you gotta, to really do the music shit, and this is kind of why I fell back, to really do the music shit, you gotta kind of be an irresponsible person.
Why is that?
Because you can't, it's hard to be a good dad or like a good boyfriend. I was a terrible boyfriend. Like, honestly. But it's like to really be like a responsible, because you're getting older too. Mm. So to be like a responsible person and like actively pursue music because you figure, ain't really, I was a nigga, at this point, I'm like, yo, I'm not working no job, dog. Like, all I do is make music. I might sell some weed and shit like that to put some money in my pocket, and I'm getting paid for shows. So my days consist of like, I wake up, smoke, turn the computer on. What we on? Where the beats at? You got this sample? All right, come through the crib. And I'm doing that. We might have rehearsal in the middle of the day. I might fuck with some chicks. I'm up all night, and then I'm up doing the same thing the next day. I don't have time to like go clock in somewhere and shit like that. I'm not building my credit. I'm not even having a car. I'm having money, and I'm still not buying a car because it's like, bro, this is all I'm worried about doing. I'm not worried about nothing else. And you got to be able to, I commend the people that had a long run in this shit and actually made it to the next step, because you got to really sacrifice a lot of shit to get to where you going. And after, if you stop, or if like you look up at your life minus the music shit, you be like, yo, everything else in my life is kind of fucked up. Like, I'm behind on shit for real, because I'm just putting this shit above everything. Because all you're doing is just focusing on this one thing. And then you add on top of that, niggas is really stopping your process, because if you already got something good going, and then off your own back, like, because everything we was doing was shit that we made up ourselves. We never had nobody writing shit for us. We didn't have nobody, we making all the music ourselves. There's not nobody, no outside people helping. This is us coming up with all the ideas, coming up with the treatment for the videos, how we gonna dress, what we gonna say, all of we booking our own shows, all this shit. Even putting up money to book venues to do our own shows. Oh, we doing all this shit in house. And then here come, like, I'm not gonna name people, but like such and such old head that got this record label, or he got, and I see that he got the connections, so it's not unbelievable. It's like, yo, this nigga was just with fucking Jay-Z or some shit like that. So it's like, here he come, like, yo, all right, now I see everything y'all doing is going good, but now I need y'all to do this. Now this might be a 6-month long process of like trying to do what he's asking us to do, and then we get to the end of it, and it's just like, niggas will do you dirty. Stop answering the phone, fucking, or just be like, yeah, nah, that shit not happening or whatever. And it's, you just don't hear from them again. And that shit sets you back. So now you gotta kind of go and figure out your own plan again. And we went through a couple situations like that. And to be honest, bro, that shit break your heart, bro. Cause it'd be like, I'm telling everybody around me that's not in it with me, like, yo, bro, I just came from New York, bro. They about to sign me to Sony, bro. Yo, I'm about to tell my girl this, all that. Like, yeah, yo, I just met fucking, I'm meeting niggas. Like, I'm meeting people. Like, yeah, yo, I just said fucking, I just came from New York from meeting with Ace Hood. Like, he about to put this joint on his album. Niggas should be lying, though. Like, and that's like a big part of the music shit like that. Like, you gotta really, like, deal with all that. Them niggas lying to you, niggas selling you a dream, all that shit. That shit not for the weak of heart. So I got my heart broken by music a lot, bro. For to be really like looking back on it, reflecting on it, like, because you really want to, you already believe in yourself, and then other people telling you they believe in you, and they telling you like, all you gotta do is, whenever a nigga say all you gotta do is get the fuck away from them. Like, that shit don't be it. Like, you really gotta just stay on course with this shit, and don't even really. The more in-house you can keep your shit without them niggas, and now niggas got it easy, because everything I'm saying is prior to Instagram.
So I was talking about that. Actually, you feel like now it's easier 100% than before.
100%, bro. Nobody knows you if nobody knows you when I'm doing this shit. Like, if I could have a fucking hard drive full of beats, I don't even have. These niggas that rap didn't even know how to use an email when I'm starting doing this shit. I can't be like, yo, who's popping? Yo, Beans. I'm gonna email you these, nigga. I don't
know how to use that.
You gotta just I gotta just pray that I go somewhere where they at. Yes, that's what we used to be doing. Yo, it's a showdown, such and such, bro. We just want to pull up. Yeah, and then hopefully niggas fuck with you and shit. Mm-hmm. So it was way harder, and we was making it work though. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, now it's like you could just make an Instagram page. Like if I was gonna do this shit now, I just like turn on the camera on my phone, show the music. Now it's way past just who's around, like in your city where you live at. It's the whole world, bro. Yeah. Now you more so like you gotta be a content creator. Mm-hmm. Like if you could create enough content around your shit to where niggas it can catch on and go viral. Next thing you know, you got fucking Travis Scott rapping on your shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's way. I'm not gonna say it's easier because I'm sure niggas are still lying and shit like that. But the connections is way easier to make because you don't even have to leave your house. Like you don't have to go anywhere to meet people. You just meet everybody online, and then since you don't have to put as much effort to meet the people, you're not as burnt out from doing that shit. Being out in the mix all the time. I mean, at this time, when I'm pursuing that shit, I'm out in the mix every day, damn near. Like, anytime a nigga call me, yo, it's such and such going on, and that's studio sessions, that's shows, that's club shit, all that. Yo, I heard such and such coming to town tonight. I'm there, like we just doing all that shit. Now you can kind of just be like, bro, I'm just in the crib for real. Like, and if I want to come out and try to network people, you can. But niggas don't even really want network in person no more. Mm-hmm. Niggas who prefer to network with you online now. So you could just go DM crazy and be in the mix for real. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's easier. It's easier to get known for sure. Mm-hmm. Now the next step of like making money off of it, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because there's a lot of niggas that you see go viral and all that shit, and then it just be like they not rich off of that shit. Right. They just everybody know who they are. Mm-hmm. So now you got other problems now, shit. Because now you gotta kind of once people think you popping, now you gotta
live up to that.
Yeah. So now you got act weird. You can't really. Now you don't want to be outside. It was cool to be outside at the time when I'm doing this shit. Nobody got money. Right. So that's why we had to find ways to be fly without spending money. So that's where I started doing going to the thrift store and getting my shit. I'm getting old shit and making it look fly. I'm not. This is like we're not getting what's a popping brand at that time. We're not wearing Belargo and shit like that. Like we're wearing, you know what I mean? I'm wearing like a fucking throwback jersey that I found in the Salvation Army. We just know how to put that shit together. You know what I'm saying? I got dirty Vans on and shit like that. Like we just knew we made that our look. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But now, if you go viral today or tomorrow, your shit get 20 million views. You got next thing you know. Next time niggas see you outside, you gotta have a rapper kit. Like, you gotta better have a chain. Yep. You better have a fucking because now you competing with the scammers. Yep. You competing with the drug dealers. You competing with the Lil Baby and them all at one time because the same way everything is connected now through the internet. Now everybody kind of looked at on the same playing field. That's why you got beyond music. You just got niggas just acting like they rich. Period. Just because it's like how you get. That's how people want to be perceived because everybody's life is like on TV now. Mm-hmm. Everybody's life on TV now. So you can't even be normal. It's not even cool to be normal if you're trying to be like famous now. Niggas don't respect the like, oh, he's on his grind trying to come up. It's like, no, nigga, are you rich yet? Like, I see your video got 100 million views. Like, why you not rich? Like, right. So it's a double-edged sword, but I feel like the getting known part is way easier now. Like, it's nothing to get known for real.
Yeah, people just going viral for anything, man.
TikTok made it easy, bro.
It seems like you don't even gotta have talent no more. Like you could just.
I don't think you ever had to have talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Okay. Most of the best rappers, artists that I know, none of them are rich and famous.
Right. Yeah.
Like, in the city, Lil Uzi Vert's not the best rapper.
Right.
I can name 100 rappers better than him.
Right.
But he just understands how to market himself, and he looked a certain way, and he built his fan base off of that. He really built his fan base off of some like, I'm weird type shit. Now, I'm not saying he's not talented, but the source of his popularity is
don't come from his talent.
Yeah, no, nobody cares if he can rap.
Right.
He don't even rap that much. He rap a little bit, and then he just so famous that like. He gonna continue to get festival shows and all this shit. He got a bad bitch is his girl. You know what I'm saying? Now he's just his whole shit is I'm just famous now and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
A nigga like Meek, yeah, he's a great rapper, but like I said, at the time when he was on his come up, if you looked at everybody that was in his class at the time when he started getting famous, or like when he started like when he made that got signed like around I'm a Boss time, he wasn't the best rapper at the time. Like,
you don't think so?
no, fuck
you,
no.
Who you feel like was?
Jihad was way better than him at that time, bro. I feel like to me, my GOAT of like that class was Had.
Okay.
If you go back and listen to what the shit they were saying, and
Hattie was that shit though.
he was. I feel like if he cared more about rapping, he would have been the main guy because he was catchy before niggas was catchy too.
That's true.
He was saying shit like, I pull up in a such and such same color as peppermint and shit like that. Like he was saying that type of shit, like cool catchy shit. Like, but Meek was more so. Once Meek realized that like, yo, I don't gotta rap niggas' heads off.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he started popping.
I feel like Hattie had them hooks before.
Yeah,
like,
he had everything, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, he had everything.
Yeah.
He was the best. Hands down, the girls liked him more. Hattie is fly at this time. Hattie having Pradas and all that shit. He actually had money. Meek was dirty at this time. He was like, he wasn't clean. Like, he was like a dirty North South Philly nigga. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying, like, if I showed you a picture of both of them at that time when they was on the come up,
right,
you would be like, Had is the rapper. Like, I would put my money on Had for real. But Meek just figured out, like, bro, I don't gotta. At that time, you don't want to battle Meek.
Right.
Meek used to come to our hood and battle niggas and shit like that, like, you know what I'm saying, and kill niggas. But it's like once he realized, yo, I don't even gotta do that. Like, yo, what was the shit? I'm in my bag. That's not. He's not saying nothing. That, but he like, all right, yeah, I don't gotta be the best rapper. He started like the new shit. The shit that he say now. It's like he went back to, all right, I'm rapping better than niggas again. Right. But the shit that got him rich is all just catchy shit. Yeah. Let me dumb all this shit down. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just give him this same flow. Mm-hmm. Like, goes back to what I said at the beginning of the joint, something that's duplicatable. Mm-hmm. That shit that he was doing on mixtapes before that was like, yo, this shit fire. But it's harder to remember because every joint he giving you different flows. Mm-hmm. He's saying, like, so now he just like, yo, I'm not another body. If you listen to that first album that he had, he did that flow the whole time. Like,
right.
He didn't start switching that shit up to like album 3. That's when he started doing other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, which Meek song you feel like is your favorite one besides, I guess, In My Bag maybe or?
I like I gotta play the rear view. I pull out the parking lot. The parking spot. That's my shit. Yeah. That album. What's the album with the cartoon shit on the cover?
Is that Expensive Pain?
Is that I think that's my favorite album.
Yeah, I like that album. I ain't gonna lie though.
I feel like that John he meshed it perfectly. He meshed like I'm gonna give you the cool flow, but now I'm saying shit again. You know what I'm saying? Like I like Pain Meek. Yeah. The catchy shit, like the song with Chris Brown and all that shit, I get it, but it's not really like the shit that I want to hear from him. No. Mm-hmm. When he started talking about like doing the bid, whenever he say something about like somebody, his homie died and shit like that, I'm like, yeah, I'll fuck with that shit. That's what I like to hear from him and shit. Right. And that's what I remember him being hot for when he first started too. Okay. The shit when he started bubbling and like making all the club songs, it was like, I get it, but it wasn't like, that ain't what I'm trying to hear from him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. Then once he got back to that type, or like the song with him and Young Thug and shit, what's the shit called, bro? What the Thug say on there? I can't remember, dog.
You said Thug on there?
Yeah, it's him and Thug.
We Ball?
Yeah. Like shit like that. I love that shit. Yeah.
So now let's take a step back to tap into your creative side with the clothes. Yeah. So it started with Astronauts.
Yeah, so we did a lot of first shit for real, bro. We was the first niggas with nobody even had merch at that time, bro. Right. If niggas had merch, it would be like, yo, get paper records on the shirt and shit like that, like nut shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? We was like getting designers to really make some shit and like real graphics and shit like that. And we going to the factory and getting that shit made to the point where we had our shit in Sneaker Village. Sneaker Village is like Snipes now, I think. Yes. So we doing that. Our shit was in the store. It was beyond like merch. We made it like to a clothing line and shit. We had like activations in the store and all that shit like that. And then shout out to my man .com, bro. He got he's still doing clothes now, doing tattoos and shit like that. Me and him, we started doing it like that way because he knew how to screen print and heat press and all that shit. So we would just make the shit ourselves and be going and selling that shit or like selling at the shows and all that kind of shit. And through connections, we ended up linking up with the people from Sneaker Villa, and that's we were selling our shit out of there and all of that. So I'm already like I'm already had an eye for fashion because, like I said, we had to make our own style. So we was never like, oh, this is what's hot right now. This is what we gonna wear. Like, and we haven't coordinated outfits and all of that shit, custom shit, all kind of shit. So I'm already I'm learning about all the clothes shit this whole time. And then I'm tapped in because, rest in peace to my Aunt Jean. She was a teacher at Moore College of Art for years, bro. She taught fashion there for a long time. And I used to just be there in summertime, like chilling though. I'm not even in the class, but she teaching that shit, showing you how to like make patterns and all this shit. This is when I'm a buck though. I'm a little kid. And I wasn't thinking about doing clothes at that time, but you know how after you get to a certain point, you start thinking back like, oh, well, this seed was kind of planted already. So I'm already kind of destined to know how to do that shit. So music shit burnt me out. I had another run after that and shit. I fucked with a couple artists and then shit just wasn't going how I wanted to go. I'm like, bro, I'm about to just switch my whole pitch up. Like I'll fuck around with the beats if I feel like it, but that's no longer my plan to like better my situation. It's just like, yo, that's just I just like doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not pursuing getting rich and famous off of that shit. So I'm like, yo, what else can I do that I like doing that I can make money off of and shit? So it's just like, I'm gonna make clothes now. So, pandemic hit. It's like, rest in peace to George Floyd.
Rest in peace, George Floyd.
Yeah, the day that George Floyd got killed, I'm staying in West at the time and shit. I'm in the crib with my girl, we watching TV and shit on the news. Yo, niggas started lighting cop cars on fire and shit like that on 52nd Street. Niggas busting through the stores and taking the ATMs out and all that shit like that. So seeing that, I'm like, yo, niggas is really on some like rebellious, like fuck the system type of shit. And I've always been a nigga that think crazy like that, like on some conspiracy theory, militant type shit. Yeah. But like, I'm not the nigga that's gonna go. I'm not gonna go like online and say how I feel about shit because I don't feel like arguing with niggas. Right. I don't even post about none of the things that I really think. I talk about it with niggas that I know and shit like that. But this was my way to like doing this. I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna do clothes, I don't want to just be like, stay true to the hustle, clothing, apparel. Like, there's so much of that shit. Like, niggas, stack paper every day. You know, like, I'm not doing that. I'm like, yo, I gotta have something that I give a fuck about that like I can always come up with ideas for. Once again. Easily duplicatable. That's like the theme in this interview and shit like that. Right. So I'm like, all right, if these people that's out here rioting and shit like that were organized, what would it be? Like, what would they call them? I'm like, cause what they doing? They doing it for a good cause, but they doing some fucked up shit. So I'm like, that's honorable, but they stealing, so they thieves. They will be honorable thieves. So that's what I kind of base it all around that and shit like that. That's hard. Yeah, and when I'm young, my whole childhood, I could always draw real good. I always my dad had a crazy comic book collection and shit like that, so I'm into comic books, all that kind of shit. So if you look at like the designs of my stuff, it's a lot of like, it looks kind of like, yeah. So that's where the inspiration, seeds begin planted when you're a kid that you don't realize, and sometimes you'll be like, why do I like this, or why can I do this? But it's like you already was kind of doing it, you just didn't know how to make it into something that's going to like, you could turn into something and shit. So I took all of that and I put that all into this brand and shit like that. And so yeah, right now I put my first shirt out, I think like the beginning of 2021. Just on some bullshit, like made some shit on the computer, found out where I could make the shirts at and shit like that, did that, selling them at like the barbershop and shit like that. So I'm like, but people like this. So I'm like, all right, cool. Duplicate it again, do it again. I started finding other designers or other like artists and shit like that could like probably draw a little bit better than me. Cause I got the ideas. I've always been an idea nigga. Like, so I come up with the craziest concepts. Sometimes I might not be able to draw it good enough or whatever. I'm wearing all the hats in the business. You see what I'm saying? So when you buy from me, I came up with the idea. Sometimes I made the graphic too. I'm fucking talking to the manufacturer. I'm paying for this shit. I'm the nigga that's shipping it to you. All these things. So sometimes I might just not have time to like sit there and make the graphic and shit like that. So I got a team of graphic designers. I got people helping me with creative direction. Shout out to my man Qua. Shout out to my brother Drew and Boob, my man Boob. So I be coming up. I got like turned it into a whole thing now. Shit like that. Got active. I kind of took because now once I start going back outside and like being in the mix, a lot of niggas that was doing music or like back then, it's kind of all, you realize it's all kind of one thing for real. When it comes to like the art shit, like all the rappers know all the niggas that make clothes, know all the bitches that model, know all the DJs. It's kind of all these niggas is all one thing. So now when I start coming back outside, it's like I'm running to all people I already knew. And then I'm meeting the new niggas that's doing the shit too in the city, getting around them and fucking with their events and all that shit. And that shit just started bubbling. And then I'm fucking with the internet. And with the internet, you kind of like I said, you reach everybody at one time. So I just bubbled off of that. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm active with that shit. I be going to different cities, doing pop-up shops, everything like that. It's been going well, bro.
Oh yeah.
This is going to be the thing that's going to get me rich off my creativity. And then once I got time, because the biggest asset that we have, the whole reason why we all try to get rich is so we can just have time to do other shit that we want. So that way I can really just do whatever creative shit I want. But I had to find a way to make my creativity make me money. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm doing with the clothing line and shit like that. And that shit been bubbling, man.
Well, one thing I could definitely say, bro, your material will definitely separate you from a lot of designers in the city and clothing lines. So definitely commend you on that. But even with the astronaut clothes, bro, the material you always picked was good shit.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
I mean,
I buy a lot of clothes, so I'm already going. I was always spending money on clothes, like, you know what I'm saying? And I was always interested in that shit. Like, if 9 times out of 10, my whole Instagram, social media timeline is just all clothing brands. So I just I'm a nigga that could absorb a lot of shit. So I could see some shit online, or I could see some shit in a movie, I could see some shit in a rap video or whatever, and I could kind of bring that back. So it'd be some of the shit that I come up with be shit that I probably was from a movie, or the way this shirt gonna fit is from this video I seen a long time, shit like that. So I just pulled all that into what I do. And I'm a person, once I lock in on something, I try to learn every single thing about it. You know what I mean? So the more I can learn from the shit, the more I can learn, the better the shit will be. So I started, the only thing that I feel like I ever put out with the brand that was not was the first shit. After that, I'm like, all right, how can I make it more like this? Comparing it to other brands that I fuck with, you know what I mean? And just started trying to bring my shit to that level. So that way, the clothes shit kind of the same shit as trying to rap in the city, for real. It might just be just as many independent clothing brands in the city as it is rappers, for real at this point. But the same shit you said, that's the thing I get off rip, is the quality. Niggas fuck with quality, and especially with my shit being geared more to guys, we buy the same shit over and over again. If you find a pair of pants that you like, you'll keep buying them Jones, because you already know what to expect. Yeah. Or if a nigga sell you some shit and you it's bullshit, you'll never buy it again. That's why I make sure the quality is good. So even if you don't fuck with the message, if you need a t-shirt tonight, you about to go out, I'm gonna fuck with Pace, because I know you gonna have some shit that's gonna fit me a certain way, I can wash it, whatever. So man.
So, you know what I mean? What can we expect coming up from Honorable Thieves, bro?
I already got the whole year kind of mapped out as far as when I'm gonna drop. I got a lot of shit. I'm just do the rest of the shit that all these other fashion brands do. I got a spring line, I got a summer line, I'm gonna have another winter line. I got a lot more cut and sew shit coming, more intricate shit, trying to step out of just t-shirts and hoodies and shorts and shit like that. So just a lot of different, more advanced, level it up a little bit, you know what I mean? You can follow me on Instagram at Honorable Thieves. Go to honorableThieves.com to shop with me. And see me in traffic, because I'd be outside doing pop-ups, and I'd be in a city near you. So I'd be doing.
Link gonna be in the bio.
For sure.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you for pulling up, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Here with an episode of BARZ Unlocked. We got Peso, Honorable Thieves.
We out.